Honey badger versus assassin bug. The honey badger is a strong animal that is related to weasels. It has gray fur on top and darker fur on its legs and sides. Its colors warn other animals to stay away. Honey badgers are brave, noisy, and have been around for a long time. The assassin bug is a much smaller insect. When it is young, it covers itself with dead bug parts to hide from predators. This gross disguise helps protect it from animals that might want to eat it. In this battle, the honey badger is hunting in the Kalahari Desert in Africa. Honey badgers eat many different kinds of food, including small animals, insects, reptiles, and even plants. At the same time, the assassin bug is in West Africa, wearing its bug part camouflage. Then magic moves the assassin bug to the honey badger's hunting area. The honey badger smells the strange pile of bug shells and leans down to sniff it. The assassin bug quickly slips out of its disguise and almost escapes. But then the honey badger hears another animal nearby and catches a barking gecko instead. The assassin bug gets away, but the honey badger stays in charge of the area. Winner, the honey badger. The common chuckwalla versus the fringe-lipped bat. The chuckwalla is a big desert lizard that lives in hot, rocky places. It eats plants and has a cool trick. It sneezes out extra salt to save water. The fringe-lipped bat is a flying animal with a great hearing. It usually hunts frogs, but it can also eat insects and small animals. In this battle, the chuckwalla is resting on a warm rock in the desert. The bat is hunting at night when magic suddenly brings it to the desert sky above the chuckwalla. The chuckwalla quickly dives into a crack between the rocks to hide. It puffs up its body to get stuck tight so predators can't pull it out. The bat swoops down and grabs the chuckwalla's tail, but the tail breaks off. The bat flies away with just the tail, while the chuckwalla stays safe in the rocks. The winner, chuckwalla. Pacific lamprey versus boneworm. The Pacific lamprey is a long eel-like fish with a round mouth that uses it to stick to other fish and feed. The boneworm is a tiny ocean animal that lives on the bones of dead whales and fish deep in the ocean. It doesn't even have a mouth. It uses tiny helpers that are microbes to eat. In this battle, the lamprey is attached to the fish in the ocean, while the boneworm is far below, eating a whale skeleton. Suddenly, an underwater landslide pushes the whale bones and the boneworm up into the water where the lamprey is. The strong current carries the boneworm away while the lamprey holds on and keeps swimming. Winner, lamprey. Bloodworm versus great gray shrike. The bloodworm is a long red worm that lives in the sand. It has sharp fangs and can bite with venom. The great gray shrike is a small bird with sharp vision and a hooked beak. It is a strong hunter for its size. In this battle, a bird tries to pull a bloodworm out of the sand, but a dog scares it away. Then magic brings the shrike to the scene. The shrike sees the moving worm and pecks at it. Suddenly, the bloodworm jumps up and bites the bird's leg. The bite hurt a lot. The shrike fights back with its beak, pecking again and again until it defeats the worm. Winner, great gray shrike. The ossifrage versus the cicada killer wasp. The ossifrage is a large bird that eats bones. It drops bones from high in the air to break them open and eat the marrow inside. The cicada killer wasp is a large wasp, but in this battle, it is still a soft, helpless larva underground. Magic moves the wasp larva to a rocky mountain near a dead animal. The ossifrage spots the bones and flies down. It picks up a bone, flies high into the sky, and drops it to break it open. The bone crashes onto the rock right where the wasp larva is. The ossifrage eats the broken bone and the wasp larva too. Winner, ossifrage. The least shrew versus the long-tailed planigale. The least shrew is a tiny mammal that has to eat all of the time because it uses a lot of energy. The long-tailed planigale is another very small animal from Australia that also eats insects and needs lots of food. In this battle, both animals are hunting when they are magically brought together. A grasshopper escapes while they are surprised. The planigale follows the grasshopper into a crack and catches it. Meanwhile, the shrew finds and eats a cricket. Then a huge grasshopper jumps away, carrying the planigale with it. The planigale leaves the area while the shrew stays behind eating. Winner, the least shrew. The southern grasshopper mouse versus the Europyge. The grasshopper mouse is a small but fierce hunter. It eats insects, scorpions, and even other animals. The Europyge, also known as a whip scorpion, is not a true scorpion, but it can spray a strong-smelling liquid like vinegar to defend itself. In this battle, the mouse finds the whip scorpion and attacks. The whip scorpion sprays its stinky liquid, and the mouse jumps back, but the mouse doesn't give up. It attacks again and uses its strong bite to defeat the Europygi. Winner, the grasshopper mouse. The Gila monster versus the Siberian salamander. The Gila monster is a large desert lizard with venom. It spends a lot of time underground and eats big meals when it can. The Siberian salamander is a small amphibian that can survive being frozen solid in very cold places. In this battle, the salamander is still frozen when magic moves it to a warm desert. The heat starts to thaw it, but it cannot move yet. The hungry Gila monster finds the salamander and begins to eat it while it's still waking up. Winner, Gila monster.